Hi, I'm Carmen Morgan. I'm the Director of Fitness at Booth Camp Gym in Nashville, Tennessee. And what I like to talk about today is the clean. So a lot of times when we're starting out with cleans, generating enough power from the ground can be tough for somebody new to cleans. Sometimes you can be really death gripping that bell. And when you pop that up, it might get a little bit of a slam onto that forearm. One of the ways that I like to take it up a notch, but also tends to help people as well, even though it seems like it's complicating it, is to go in for a rotational clean. There's two ways we can do this, and it really allows us to use our pivot and our power from our feet to make that clean seem more smooth and fit into that little pocket on your forearm and shoulder. So if we were to just pick this bell up and let's say we spun it around and got it gently nestled there, one way we can go into a rotational clean is we can drop it down and bend both legs and then turn into it. If you prefer to use your train tracks and your hip pivot, that's another option. You drop it down with one side, you turn into that power. Again, this allows most people to pivot off that leg and really smooth catch that bell. So give yourself a try with this. Think down, turn, pivot to catch that bell. Then you can add another step by pivoting and pressing. And again, a lot of times this might feel better than simply trying to hard clean up from the floor because you get to use your hips, you get to drive those feet down. A few more tries here. Thinking both knees bending into that pivot or one knee bending into that pivot. Nice little way to catch it. Use that momentum, use that turn, press off that foot so it gently lands. One of my favorite ways to add on to the rotational clean is to just keep thinking with that bouncing side to side with your leg. So once we go down, we're going to pop this down in that arc, take it down, rotate up, and let's go ahead and use that bounce momentum to rotate into that press. We can come back and we can keep going here, really thinking, use those soft knees, pivot off those feet, and let that chest turn with you so you have a smooth catch. After you've gotten it there, you can add all kinds of elements in here. You could start with a squat. You could go into that rotational clean, press, and then if you wanted to switch arms, you could go into that swing to the other side. We would go rotation and press. If that rotational clean is still seeming tough, one way to get into that motion of your train tracks and your hips is to just start to get your body turning and things working like a pendulum here. You can start to feel how that bell can raise as you're pushing into the ground with each foot. Once that feels good and you're able to feel that momentum, you can take it back up to the top and then remember that same movement as you swing down and pivot up. Swing down, pivot up. Again, if you prefer, you can always bend into both knees. Back to the top, both knees, back to the top. Each and every time, pressing off the ground and using that to generate force. Make that bell float. Once you feel good about that rotational clean, we can start to set timers and actually work through the flow. So what I would suggest is maybe going a minute on. You could go a minute on, a minute off, and just let yourself get into that flow so we're not worrying too much about rep count, and we're just thinking of perfecting these movements. Taking it down, up, across, here, and then swing to switch. We're going to take it down, up, across, back, swing to switch. Again, keep thinking about those feet pressing into the ground. Keep thinking about catching that softly as you pivot and press off that ground with your feet. 1 minute of this, and you'll be feeling sweaty and flowy. For more exercise breakdowns, tutorials, and flows, like and follow here, and also click my tag in the description.